What's up YouTube, this is Galactic God, and welcome to another Yu-Gi-Oh! Q&A segment. First up, I've got a video question from Card Magic and Sam.
Galactic God, I want to know what is your favorite warrior type monster and why?
Well, I guess my most favorite warrior type monster is DD Warrior Lady. Not only is the artwork spectacular and awesome, but the effect is actually quite useful. I remember back in the day, the effect was considered so good that you were limited down to one copy of DD Warrior Lady per deck. Okay, so the next video question comes from Insector Dude.
Hey, what's up, Galactic God? This is Insector Dude. I was just wondering, a question for your video response. How do you organize your cards? Because I have so many cards, and I didn't know if there was a really good way to organize your cards, because I can never find the cards that I need, and I know a lot of other people have the same problem. So, yeah, if you could you answer my question? Thanks.
What the hell? Okay, so to answer the Demon Creatures question, the way I usually organize my cards is by, of course, Monster, Spell, Trap, and then Synchro, Fusion, Exceed. I have a different trade binder for each one of those kind of classes. And then from there, if you're talking about monsters, I usually organize them through archetype. So I have all of my Synchron monsters, then all my Heretic monsters, all my, Ice Barrier, Jurak, E-Heroes, all of them separated by that kind of class. If they're a more generic type of monster, then I go through and I have, warriors, spellcasters, dragons, all that kind of stuff in a more general sense too, also in their own little section. As for spells, I kind of organize it the same way too. I have, archetype specific spells in their own little category, so if I ever want to find all my E-Hero spell cards, I could just go right to that section in my spell book. And then from there I have kind of them all organized by, continuous, quick play, all that kind of stuff, and so forth and so on throughout the whole, rest of my books. Okay, so Dutchman Studios asks, do you think Pot of Greed is going to become legal again? It's kind of a hard question to answer because you never really know what Konami is going to do with the limited forbidden list. They tend to be sporadic at best on what they decide should or should not come off the list. Obviously, there's other power broken cards such as Monster Reborn, Dark Hole, Heavy Storm, which have all been on the forbidden list at times and have come off. They've released other cards off of the forbidden list at times for a single format. Ring of Destruction comes to mind. People thought that card would never in a million years come off, and of course, it came off for a format. People thought Lackluster Soldier would never come off the forbidden list, and it's been around for like 2 formats now. So when you're trying to figure out what cards Konami will, take on or put on the forbidden list, it's really kind of hard to determine. Their kind of reasoning is sometimes all over the place, and sometimes some of the cards they choose to come off, they kind of make you scratch your head and go like, why would they do that? Well, and then the cards stick around. Like, people never thought Monster Reborn would come off. Why would they bring back free monster recursion? There's no cost to Monster Reborn. You just get a big powerhouse monster back, and people thought that was way too busted, but we've had it for quite a long time, and a lot of players would say that it's kind of needed. Could Pot of Greed come back? I don't see why not. I mean, essentially everybody would play Pot of Greed. Everybody would get a +1 off the card. It's no disadvantage to anybody other than, if you don't draw your Pot of Greed before your opponent, obviously your opponent's going to get that plus before you. Does Pot of Greed need to come back? Probably not. But could it come back? You never know with Konami. The Shadow King 419 asks, what is your least favorite meta deck to play against and why? I want to say Dino Rabbits, but in reality it's probably Final Countdown. I hate kind of playing against those kind of decks. Final Countdown decks or Chain Burn or anything that's not like a standard kind of deck is really annoying as hell to play against, and I hate playing against those kind of decks. If you're looking for like one of the big 4, the standard ones, I'd have to say Dino Rabbit, just because facing off against a Logia or something of that nature is just real annoying too. I mean, they have this big beater out there. They're going to negate whatever big move I'm going to go to try and counter that, and then they just bring out their tour guide, bring back their rabbit, or summon another rabbit. It gets real kind of annoying and repetitive, and it's probably my least favorite of the big meta decks to play against. ICPL Josh asks, what deck do you currently play this format, and why that over other ones? Actually, I think the deck that I've been playing the most this format has been my Synchron deck. I kind of put it together and kind of play tested it for a long time before I actually made the duel video with it in it, and I think I just have the most fun with it. I love bringing out Quasar. I love going for those crazy combolicious plays and just synchro climbing and doing all that crazy stuff. I really like the 5Ds anime itself, and every time I play the Synchron deck, it kind of just reminds me of the anime series, and I guess that's why I play it a lot. I think it's kind of a fun deck to play. You can get some major combos off. It does pretty decent against all the major decks, especially if you drop a big boss monster like Quasar or Shooting Star. I mean, they have a hard time getting around that kind of stuff. And I played a lot on DN. I played a lot against my friends, and a lot of times they're like, "Oh my gosh, here comes Quasar again," or something like that. But I think it's just a real fun deck to play, and that's why I choose to play that one over, Insectors or some of the other ones. Ice Monarch 80 asks, have you ever met Simply Unlucky? And no, I have not. I guess he was at the 100th YCS, which I also attended, but I never got the chance to meet him. I would have loved to have met him and talked to him for a bit, but unfortunately just never caught up with him, never saw him there. It was a huge event, though. There was like 5,000 plus people, everywhere, taking up the convention center, and it was just, hard to find anybody. I did meet, Underworld 6667, Draco DMD, Crow Cresta, Slim X Team Symmetry, and a bunch of other people at the event itself. So I mean, that was kind of cool. I got to meet a lot of different Yugi tubers, and I got to meet a lot of different players and other people, so all that was very cool to do. But unfortunately I did not run into Simply Unlucky, and hopefully maybe at some future event, if I can, I will meet him and get to talk to him. Okay, Manser50 wants to know, what is my favorite non-Yu-Gi-Oh card game? And to tell you the truth, if you're talking about TCGs, I don't really play any other TCG card game besides Yu-Gi-Oh! I kind of dabbled into World of Warcraft 1 for a short time. I dabbled into Versus for a very short time. But none of them ever really interest me the way that Yu-Gi-Oh! Has, and I've never really kind of caught on to any of them like that. I have looked at Cardfight Vanguard, and although I think the artwork in the cards is extremely well done, I just haven't had the time or the money or anything like that to try and pursue another kind of card game. And although it looks interesting, it's just not something that I'm interested in doing. If you're talking about non-TCG games, Chrononauts is a really cool card game that I think everyone should go look up right now and check out. It's so fun to play, especially once you guys learn the dynamic of the game. It's really cool and interesting and a lot of fun. Power Mystic 08 and the Waffle 7269 both kind of ask, who is your favorite Yugi tuber and why? Well, originally, I would have to say that my favorite Yugi tuber was DarkArmedMonarch. He had a great channel. He posted a ton of great content up there. Unfortunately, he's not able to post any videos at the moment, so he hasn't been posting anything for quite a little while now. But he's still one of my all-time favorite Yugi tubers. So I'll have a link to his channel somewhere in the description, maybe in an annotation if I remember. But you guys should definitely go check out his channel. He has a lot of great content up there. If you're talking about like people that are still producing videos, though, I'd have to say the Yugi tuber that I probably like most right now is MegaCapitalG. I shall also have a link to his channel in the description as well as an annotation. He produces a ton of great video. He's constantly putting stuff up on his channel. He has great insight into the game, great insight into a lot of the decks, and a lot of just really good content up on his channel. Every time he posts a video, I know it's going to be something I want to watch, and I go and check him out constantly all the time. And those are kind of the guys that I really enjoy watching. Okay, so that's it for this episode's Q&A. If you guys have any questions you'd like me to answer in the next Q&A, please leave them down in the comment section below. Also, if you guys like, you can leave me a video response question, and I will play it before I answer it in the next episode as well, too. So, I guess that's it for now. This is GalacticGod, out.